Okay, YouTube, I decided to do a video to explain something. I have a 2018 QX80. There you go, right there. And I noticed the other day that the vehicle didn't have a gap, a big gap between the rear wheel and the body. Normally, with this vehicle, I put a car carrier on the top of it there. And how we get the car carrier on is by standing on the back wheel. So we try to stand on the back wheel and get the car carrier on for Thanksgiving weekend, and we couldn't stand on it. So we realized there was about 3 inches missing in the gap. Checked out what was going on. We heard air coming out of this area, the back driver's tire. What we thought was the back driver's tire, but it was actually the air shock. So I kind of started on it a little bit. Here's the air line. You push on this little orange tab right there, and you just pull that air line out. You can use a screwdriver to push on the orange and pull out the air line. I have the spring supported by a jack. And to drop this air strut rather, you pop this screw, you pop that nut, and it should just slide out. So I'm gonna pause the video here and pick up after I loosen that top bolt and that bottom bolt. Just picking up, currently taking out the bottom bolt. Just to let you guys know, you need a 21 millimeter socket to get that bottom bolt, and an 18 millimeter, I would say, wrench, because there's not a lot of room in between there to get a socket. So I'm using an 18 millimeter wrench to loosen up the top nut. And there's our 18 millimeter wrench I'm using to take that top nut off because of the tightness of the area. Okay. There's the bottom nut, there's the top nut, there's a 21 millimeter socket I use for the bottom nut, and here's an 18 millimeter wrench I use for the top nut. Bottom nut is gone, top nut is gone. There is a little bushing here, a little bushing. Mine is, as you can see, kind of dirty. I got a pretty sandy road to get to my house. There was sand on it. I'll clean that off before I put it back. And it sits under the nut like that. Other than that, should be pretty straightforward. Well, actually, yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. I should just be able to work that out. And this is the new $400 air shock bladder's in good shape. You can see I just bought it from Infinti. This bladder looks pretty beat up. There's actually even stretch marks on it. So I'm not sure when this went out, but had to be pretty recently. I'm not sure how long these take to fail, but hopefully I don't lose any more. I'll be back after I wiggle this bad boy out and show you. Well, actually, if you hear it, it's definitely blown and shredded on the bottom. I'll be back because I think I'll need 2 hands to pull this air strut out. I did need 2 hands to pull it out, but it took me approximately 4 seconds to pull it out. And there's a bad one. I'm gonna install the new one. Okay, it took me about 8 seconds to put the new one in. I didn't bolt it in yet. I just want you guys to see how it fits. I'm gonna line up top and the bottom screw, and I'll be back. Okay, so here's the rubber bushing here. Here's that little washer, and here's the nut. I'm gonna tighten them up, and there's the bottom. I'm gonna do the airline last for you guys to see. Okay, let me explain this. Ran into a little thing. The hardware, there was hardware for the old shock that the new shock didn't come with. We're gonna look into the box together. And it didn't come with anything but the top nut. So I'm gonna take the hardware from this one, and it's sat just like this and slides on. Like so. So I'm taking the hardware from the old one and using the new one, because when I put the new one there was wobble. So the bottom under this bracket, this hardware is on the strut. Okay, got the top nut on, the washers, the brackets under there, lined up in the, you only can put them in one way. It's kind of a square fitting. And I'm gonna take a rubber mallet to tap that in. Got it tightened up. I'm gonna use my bar just to torque it down a little bit. Then I'm going to proceed to finishing the tightening of that top nut. All right, YouTube. I think I forgot to hit record when the tire was inflated. I must have been excited. But as you can see, there's a big enough gap there. It's not that 1-inch gap where I was riding on the wheel. Damn near. It's about a 4-inch gap. And it's back to how it was, the new strut. So, you got any questions, leave them in the comments section, and I'll try to answer them. But it's a pretty straightforward job. But it's a $1,000 job. Anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So if you got an hour, hour and a half in the evening, and you got a garage or somewhere where you can work, just do it yourself. It's really not that hard. It's 2 bolts, one on the bottom, one on the top. The air line, just push that orange tab in with a screwdriver towards the strut, pull the line out, and that's pretty much it. Just take your safety precautions, jack stands, all that, and good to go. Bottom bolt, 21 millimeter, top bolt, 18 millimeter, and you're good to go.